There's something real cool going on. You can connect directly with wrestling superstars and other celebrities and get personalized video messages from stars including like Mick Foley, Kurt Angle, Jake the Snake Roberts, DDP, Velvet Sky, SoCal Val, Big Vader, Rikishi, Hacksaw Jim Duggan Ho, Brutus Beefcake Tanaka, Christopher Daniels, David Hasselhoff, and stars from Breaking Bad, Star Trek, Star Wars, The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and many more. So cool. They will record your videos with whatever information you provide, including mentioning your name, your hometown, your hobbies, wish you a happy birthday, propose to your girlfriend, or whatever you want them to do. Get one for yourself or give one as a gift. Prices range from around $25 to $100, and you'll get a 10% discount on all videos if you go to www.pricesrangefrom25 to $100, and you'll get a 10% discount on all videos if you go to www.celebvm.com/Roddy right now. When you get your video, you can download it and you can share it with anyone you want to. You can post it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can share it with all your friends and relatives. Save 10% and get one for yourself, or it's an awesome gift. All you gotta do is go to www.celebvm.com/Roddy. That's www.celebvm.com/Roddy. You'll be the coolest kid on your block. Good day, boys and girls. Is your mommy and daddy out of the room? Lock the doors. Welcome to Piper's Pit Pot. Baby Jesus. Whew. I've been moving fast. Got a great guest coming up. But before we get there, there's all kinds. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching the Oscars, and I was there. I drove a $250,000 vehicle. I came in that to the Oscars. It was a limousine, and I was driving it. So, and I'm watching, and there's, I see The Rock come down. I'm so jealous. It's like, jeepers creepers. And he did a great job. Rock, I don't really know that generation well. I don't really know The Rock that well. I think it was last WrestleMania. He just came out of nowhere and gave me a hug, and he said, you were my hero when I was a boy. So what's wrong with you now? You don't like me anymore now, huh? Pretty first-class guy. I was proud to see him in there. I was looked all over for the Iron Sheik. You know, Daddy. Oh, I'm the Iron Sheik from Tehran, Iran. I need to tell you a story about that crossing the border with him when they had the 444 hostages. And he, whoa, baby Jesus. He's quite a fella. But, the thing that maybe they didn't get it, the Oscars. I don't know. It should have been even just like nominated at the very least. Hell Comes to Frogtown. It's not like I haven't sent it in or been proud of it. Play. Furball. But why Hell Comes to Frogtown doesn't get up there, I do not know. Boy, what a lot of pretty dresses. I caught the thing where these gals, some gal got paid $500,000 for wearing somebody's dress. Give me the money. Ha! I wear a kilt. It's not that far. It's not that far a stretch. $500,000 in a dress, I'd put the nylons on too. Oh, there's a run in my leg. We got great guests coming up. I got to do something different. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know really anything about him. Off air, he told me that he had a degree in political science. Political science and religion. And so I'm going to play it. He's predicting Armageddon. He's predicting the end of the world, too. And I always like that. Was my dad, what was his name? Porky Pig, right? My dad. He's predicting lots of things. So I'm just going to put 3 minutes of it on. Let me know what you think. Could be need to know information. Aliens, he is. Villain Network. Holy cow. I don't know how much trouble I'm going to get, but I've launched Villain Network. Coming your way soon. Just the idea of it. I'm greatest villain in the history of my business. So they say. Personally, I thought I was a pretty nice guy, but apparently not. The podcast. Thanks to fastest growing podcast. Holy cow, you guys are great out there. And you're not afraid to give me your opinions. I do. I'll go on Twitter, in case you don't know, R_Roddy_Piper, PIPER.the. Going to have, it grows so fast. And you guys always help me out. If I got a question, I just throw it to them. And it's remarkable. They got great ideas, too. Come out with a contest, and we're going to have a contest to see, two guys do the They Live fight. The one that does it the best, going to fly him in. Working on it. Have you had all out of bubblegum soda pop yet? I'll tell you. Put a Roddy Piper all out of bubblegum soda pop in the fridge, get it really cold, and then give that to your gal. I have a graphic novel just come out. Holy cow, I'm not kidding you. It's fantastic. I don't much say that kind of stuff about me. Yeah, I do. I'm great. But no, it's fantastic. The artwork, the front cover was done by a guy named Joe Judko, Jusko, Jusko, one of the top drawers in the world. So you see that running around. It's something that if you put up, you'll be very proud of it. And the story's pretty cool. I've never had one of these before, but first-class people. And they gave me a first-class product. So I know Mick Foley, just hang on. You're going to have to listen to me for a second more. But he's going to be my guest this week. I did a thing with Mick where he asked me, he was Santa Claus, and I'd say hello to him, and Mick's got this compulsion with Santa Claus. There's a whole room in his house. It's just Santa Claus, It's, whoa, there goes Santa. He's in the air. He's coming off the cage. He's in the air. He fell 20 feet and broke all his teeth on the cement floor. I thought Santa could stay in the sleigh, but apparently not. I guess Santa Clauses can crash and burn just like everybody else. So, without further ado, I got to go. I got to take a break. If there's something that I didn't cover, let me know. And when we come back, we have the incomparable Dude Love, Mankind, and Mick Foley. Thanks for listening. We'll be back in a second. Yeah. Ever wonder why razors are so doggone expensive? Maybe it's because razors are all loaded up with so much shave technology. They got vibrating handle, 19 blades, laser pointer, compass, thermometer, back scratcher. I don't need any of that. And it's not fair to make me pay for it. I was sick of paying out the nose to get a great shave. That's why I made the switch to DollarShaveClub.com. DollarShaveClub.com delivers amazing razors and grooming supplies for just a couple of bucks. It's so simple and smart. It takes 2 minutes to get going, and then you will never, ever have to worry about your razors again. DollarShaveClub.com gives you a free handle, and then they send you replacement blades for just a few bucks. You can get blades delivered every month, every other month. Your blades arrive like clockwork. Stop squeezing weeks of shaves out of that dull razor and start treating yourself to a fresh blade shave anytime you want. And believe me, I will tell you that DollarShaveClub.com blades are fantastic. I've never had a closer shave. Upgrade to the smarter way to shave. Get your shave gear where I get mine. Baby, it's dollarshaveclub.com/Piper. Piper. Shave time, shave money. dollarshaveclub.com/Piper. dollarshaveclub.com/Piper. It don't get no cooler than that. I guess it's bagpipe time. Yeehaw! I am the last of the gunslingers. You are on Piper's Pit Pod at Podcast 1. And this guy here is, I don't know, he's probably the most, let me see, just how do I put this? He's probably, not only is he in the top notch of all the professional wrestlers in history, but he's spread himself and his talents out maybe more than any other wrestler. He's always trying new stuff. Everybody loves him. And he's given me the honor of having him on. I'm going to keep him as long as I can. Ladies and gentlemen, the four, the only, Mick Foley, Dude Love, Mankind, and the other guy. How you doing, bud? What was the fourth one, Mick? I'm sorry.
It was Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, and then when I became the commissioner, I always counted that as a fourth character. It was so much different than anything I'd done before. So, and it's funny, it's different parts of the country or the world I go to, and some people will still call me Mankind predominantly. Very few people calling me Dude, besides Hulk Hogan, but he calls everybody Dude or brother.
Tell me, so which one do you think that the fans enjoyed? They enjoyed them all, but which one did they enjoy the most?
It's funny. I'll when I do these live shows, I'll sometimes go out and say, hey, I don't know which face of Foley you like most, whether it was Dude Love, and there's literally almost silence when I'll say Dude Love, and I'll hear like one or two people like clap, and I'll go, oh, come on, like I didn't even like Dude Love, and I was him. Yeah. But in some parts of the country, he gets a big response, but I think for the people, especially the ones who stuck around and followed my career, they like the stuff that Cactus Jack brought to the table, and they like the entertainment that Mankind provided.
Yeah, Mankind sticks out. When you got that mask thing right away, you got my attention. You're a big boy and you're moving my way. I'm getting out of the way. What a great career you've had. I was just reading you started in a wrestling school with, who was it, Mick? Doggone it.
Dominic DeNucci was
Dominic
trainer.
DeNucci.
And Shane Douglas was the we had a good class, everybody who came out of there, could work, and then Shane got a break. Another guy, Cody Michaels, worked a few of the territories back in the waning days of the territories, and then hurt his neck and ended up as a chiropractor. But we had a good group of guys that all wanted to learn and all were willing to work hard.
Did you know Shane Douglas when he very first came into business?
Yeah, he came in about he was DeNucci's student about 4 months before I was. He kind of he met Dominic in a strange way, he and some friends put on a wrestling show at a high school, and they were like kind of backyard trained, and it was one of those deals where they got to do a match of their own at the show, and Dominic saw enough in them, and like everybody, they thought they were good. It was probably terrible, but Dominic said if they wanted to train the right way, that he had a ring in his barn in Freedom, Pennsylvania, and they were welcome to train there. So yeah, I guess I've known Shane since 1985.
He was a great-looking young kid, wasn't he? A great-looking young kid.
Yeah.
What happened? I guess like the rest of us, right? With the exception of you. I was a good-looking young kid, according to my... holy cow, Shane! And I love Shane to death, man.
Yeah, Shane, he looks quite a bit different,
Quite a bit. Another thing, so Dominic DeNucci, I learned this, I was with Rick Martel, the model, and Jeepers, Tito Santana, two, fine men. And I learned this about Dominic DeNucci. So Tito Santana's over in Hawaii, and he finds this lady that he really falls in love with. So Dominic DeNucci grabs a chauffeur's hat and gets in the car and goes by and picks up Tito and the lady and chauffeurs it like he's the chauffeur the whole night.
No kidding.
Yeah, and he chauffeured him around and, yes, ma'am, and opened the door, and the lady never knew any difference until Tito married her.
That's a great story.
Isn't that a great story?
Yeah.
Like Dominic DeNucci, another one, I'm sorry because this is your time to talk, but my wife and I are in Rome for 6 weeks doing buy and sell at the De Laurentiis Studios. And so, it's midnight, and we're by the Fountain Trevi, and we start walking down the street, my wife and I, and who do we run into? A Dominic DeNucci. He goes,
Really?
hello, how you doing? You come to my house? I was the safest man in Italy. Anyway, so he would be why I'm saying that the backside of him, Dominic DeNucci's a real man's man, and he wouldn't go in there and take advantage of you. He would give you his heart, I would assume.
Yeah, man, he could have. And I've heard all the stories, and I understand why people did it. The stories that tough guy comes to wrestling school in the 60s or 70s, gets down in the referee's position, and an old-time shooter drops a knee on the back of his ankle, and the guy, with the idea being the guy goes back home with a cast, and guys did what they had to do to defend the business. And Dominic, I easily could have been one of those guys if he'd chosen to. To this day, and Shane tells his story about this bodybuilder in Rome, and this is when I went to Rome in 1986, and maybe in 87, but 86, 87, and Dominic at that time was at least 60. I think he was 60, and the guy wanted to be trained, and Dominic said, he said in Italian, basically, I'm going to now do an English-Italian accent, even though he's speaking Italian. Basically he said, if you can turn me, I can train you. And this is a big guy, big muscular guy. And Dominic got down the referee's position. No matter what the guy did, he couldn't get Dominic off his base.
Couldn't even get him off his base.
Nah. And so every once in a while, we just get the signal from him, like you don't mess with me. But he never. He would tie me up in knots, but never to the point where I felt like I was. Like I was being unduly, beaten on or taken advantage of. And I appreciate that. I don't know about you, Roddy, but when I made my way through wrestling, I would take mental notes of the people who treated me well, and mental notes of the guys who could have been a little nicer. And I always try to treat people the way that I knew I liked to be treated. And you're on that list of guys who, even when you were a big star, and still are, but I'm talking
good recovery.
86. Not that we had much interaction, but it was always positive, and you always made those, that brief amount of time. I still remember, for whatever reason, you coming up and saying, Guten Tag. I didn't know if you knew I spoke a little German, but went out of your way, and it wasn't just like a hey man. It was like a genuine hello. You go through, and I just want to repeat that to the guys out there. People do remember. So if you're on top, go out of your way to just shake a couple hands and be nice to the young guys. Yeah,
Isn't that truth?
Sure.
Because somebody helped us, and our job is to kind of help you. But if you become, there was one guy. Nikolai Volkov. What was his name? Hang on. The Bull. Randy.
And not Manny the Bull.
Manny. Yeah, Manny Fernandez.
Yeah.
So Manny Fernandez in San Bernardino, and he's wrestling Manny, and Manny's chopping the dog out of Nikolai Volkov, who's such a wonderful man. And they get back, and Nikolai, please, you hurt me, and Manny laughing, and they go down to Texas or the Alamo is, what's that? Where's the Alamo?
San Antonio.
Thank you, San Antonio, and I had another match, and Manny, he's considers himself a tough guy, whatever, and he's just beating the dog out of Nikolai's chest and bomb. And Nikolai, sir, please, and the third night, Manny slapped him. Pow! Nikolai knocked him out. 20 minutes, he was out.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, Nikolai, for those who don't know, was a Russian powerlifter, boxer, and one time at his farm, he just was bored, so he took a pail and dug a basement. Anyways, you do remember. You do remember.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you can go back to and I love the tough guy stories, and I wish there was just one out there about me,
I hear you.
About me clearing out a bar. There are none that I could make one up and try to spread it around via social media, but deep down I'd know it wasn't true. My perspective on the world changed when I was doing an independent shot. And I didn't know that Robert Gibson was like a legit, not necessarily a shooter, but like a dirty street fighter.
Yeah, around
like a really well schooled one. And the moment Robert started showing me a few things and how quickly he could break my thumb and and take out my knee, I just realized I better be nice to everyone.
Well, you do have that reputation. You're probably the nicest man in pro wrestling. I'll tell you when you won my heart. To be honest with you, as I never said anything. We were some arena in the world, and I happened to have my son with me, Colt. And I'm not sure which you had your boy with you. I'm sorry, I don't recall his name, but I was watching, because I'm a dad, and. Oh, you're a good daddy, Mick. You had time for that boy.
Thanks.
And when that young man asked a question, right, wrong, or indifferent, you were very gentle. And I went, whoa, there's a man that I respect.
Roddy, I appreciate that. I think that was my son, Mickey. And, I tried to take my kids, make up especially for some of the lost time. And even when WWE, they really did do a nice documentary on me. And I really appreciate the comments a couple of the guys made, like Road Dogg, about, how often he'd see me taking my kids out on the road with me. And, kind of wishing he'd done the same thing. I don't know if you ever saw this tweet I sent out several months ago, but I said that, even though you and I never did the roads together, we were never really on tour at the same time. You were one of the guys I connected with the most as a person because of the same kind of holding the same things in importance. And for those people, this is like a breaking news story. I don't know if you've ever shared this with anyone, but when you had the opportunity, when you were approached about doing wife swap. And you asked me what I thought. I remember, it was a nice moment. I've never, to this day, I've never met your wife, but I said, I'll tell you, I'll tell you everything you want to know. I'll tell you everything I can. And we put you and your wife were on speakerphone. We probably talked for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, we did, and you told us the truth. It was because of you I did it. I wouldn't have done it.
And I hope it was a good experience for you.
It was a great experience. You know what? Kitty went. She was with Flair for 4 days, had him broke down to his knees, had a hoodie on him, a pretend mustache, taking him shopping, then made him cook at home. He was like a baby, 32 years with her.
I know.
But,
it was they went out on a limb, and that was the first time they'd ever done a theme like that. Two guys from the same business, two guys who knew each other so well, but were so different. So in the end of the day, you're kind of putting your hand in the editor's. You're putting your fate in the editor's hands. But I thought they did pretty well by you, and I felt like they did well by me too.
They were first class. It was just like right away wife swap. Really, it's like they got one out now, Mick. They got one where couples come on stage, go in a room, have sex, come out and talk about it. How low do you go?
The guy for me, if I was the guy who convinced you to do it, my Mick Foley in that sense was Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. because he was doing it, and as you know, you can't, the days when they would just turn the camera on and hope something real happens, they're long gone, like they kind of construct, some ideas, and then there is some real stuff that comes out of it.
Sure,
but they
it's
don't,
business.
they want to make sure they don't have a boring show in their hands. And so I was going over Dee's house. He's since moved, but he lived about 10 minutes away from me and has a radio set up in his basement. And so they had me just conveniently coming over, and I think I must not have been very impressive as I wasn't even actually on the show. But I made enough of an impression on the people there that they inquired about me, doing the show. And Dee was my guy. I was like, Dee, I don't know, wife swap? And he was like, bro, I'm telling you. He goes, it's not like the cable show. This is ABC. He goes, and he used the term vanilla. He goes, it's so vanilla. They're not looking for conflict. They just want to see how different people find ways to get along. And I went, all right, I can do that. I can do that.
Now, I've met Dee, and he's another one. In our business, you kind of got a line. You got the kind of family guys that are committed to their family, and then maybe younger guys running wild, or older guys with many divorces. And Dee seems to be more one of those guys to me also, sitting in our same club there where we love our family.
Dee is a great guy, and I don't think he and his wife very seldom are even apart. She's I shouldn't say, because I know she stayed home many times when he was on the road and they had the kids. But the same way, I've seen the kids and the family on so many occasions, been over there, and it was a sad day when I went to his daughter's graduation party because they were waiting for her to finish high school before they made the move to California to pursue some other things. But a good guy, and I think you'll appreciate this, being a long-time married man. This is perhaps the greatest insult I've ever heard. It came from Dee's wife to Dee when, after 30 years of marriage, Dee found out that his wife did not particularly care for him as a singer.
As a singer?
As a singer. He makes his living as a singer. It is one of the most iconic figures in 80s metal. And he was hurt. And she says to him, this is the great line. She goes, Dee, when I met you, I told you my favorite singer was Stephen Perry. What about that sentence would lead you to believe that I liked your voice?
Yeah, they got a way. They got a way to get in there. When you talk about your career, and we were just talking about family, and I've had to make these choices. That I had heard that when you were working, that your daughter, I don't know if it was on television or where it was, but one of your daughter, Noelle, maybe got upset because her daddy was hurt in multiple chair shots, and I think it was in maybe '99 Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Royal Rumble with The Rock.
Yeah. Was she there live, or was she watching at home?
Yeah, she was there, and they were in the front row. And to this day, I mean, I admit that the match got carried away, and this is a matter of record. So it's supposed to be 5 shots. It turned out to be 11. I was still in the ring at 5. 5. We just
getting warmed up.
We just we got kind of the Rock and I got caught up in the characters, and it just was excessively violent. And I admit that was the wrong call as a dad to have them in the audience at all, let alone in the front row. But to this day, I maintain that if WWE hadn't made the decision to do halftime heat, which meant that I would be wrestling only 3 days after that show, if instead, think psychologically, I took my kids to Disneyland for 3 days, 3 or 4 days before that show, and even went out for 4 hours on the day of the show, went to the park, and then they saw their dad get bludgeoned. To this day, I believe psychologically, if after I gotten bludgeoned, I'd been able to turn to my kids and said, "We're going to Disneyland tomorrow."
Like they did in the World Series, right? Yeah. Where are you going? I'm going to Disneyland.
And it would have been psychologically an entirely different feeling because instead of going to Disneyland the day after I got hurt, I was sending them off on the red eye, and then 2 days later I was in Tucson, Arizona, filming the Super Bowl match. But it was. Man, it was bad. It was bad. I mean,
but like, how are you to know? That's the decisions we got to make as dads. I've had Colt come, my son, and my daughter, but you didn't know that the chair was going to be wrapped around your head at the end of the match. Noelle, my dear, could you pull the chair off while we go to Disneyland? That just doesn't,
She was, I think she was 4 or 5 then.
Oh, the little sweetie pie.
The original. I mean, if you don't mind me talking openly, the finish was supposed to be like me looking out at the crowd, seeing my kids and quitting, so they wouldn't have to endure that. And to this day, I thought it would have been a heavy ending. And as it turned out, there were going to be USA executives, and I was asked to change that. And my fear about that finish was that I would look out in the audience and that my kids wouldn't look worried. Because I really had done a good job over the years at telling them that I never got hurt, It was kind of the exact opposite, in your era, and you hate to see, and you somehow came away unscathed as a dad. I mean, no one comes out completely unscathed, but there are all these stories about, fathers and sons going great many years without talking to each other. And part of the reason, from what I gather, is that kids were, getting in fights in schoolyards to defend their father's honor about the real versus fake issue. And
True.
Then when they find out that they've been kind of fighting a needless battle, there's some resentment there.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like the exact opposite. I told my kids I never got hurt. And then they started catching on, and the rumble was that moment when they realized that Dad had not been honest. They may have been kids, but it was pretty obvious that Dad got hurt. And after that point, I'd come home and I'd have a black eye, I'd have stitches, they'd see me limping, and the guilt was, I lived with a lot of guilt because of that.
A lot of guilt. I lived on a mountain, so I could block all wrestling off. But when, for instance, like Colt would go to school, I'm not sure if this is exactly what I did, but I kind of kicked Cyndi Lauper, knocked out Mr. T, chased Dick Clark back to the dressing room, Next day, I paid myself half black. Next day, Colt goes to school. Maybe not the easiest thing to be Rod's son. But that's a fine, there's a lot of sons that have got caught up in that and hurt them for life. So, again, you're such a great dad, which resonates through everything that you do. You got a heart. And you're one of the people that I'll always be talking about when you're long gone. When also I see that the kids obviously love you because they got their own YouTube channel going for you. Mick Foley 0105. That's Mick Foley 0105, baby.
Yeah, my son. My 2 younger kids. They do their videos and they do their trampoline wrestling, and they reenact like the top finishers, and they put a lot of pride into doing their own sound effects.
Well, they come by it honestly. When was the first time you got on a roof of a house, and what were you thinking?
The first time was actually wait, my son is raising his hand like he wants to contribute something.
Come on, bring him on.
Oh, he just made. All right, Hugh, you want to talk to Roddy Piper about the stairs you just made for your wrestling ring?
Please.
This is Hot Rod, Hall of Famer. You want to talk to him?
Yeah, come on, champ.
On speakerphone.
Oh,
cool. How you doing, bud?
Stairs you made.
Well, I made stairs.
You made stairs. Now, how many stairs are there?
How many stairs?
4.
4 stairs.
4. So what are you going to do with those stairs?
That's how they climb into their ring. And this is one of those things where I was asked by WWE, they said, Jane in talent relations was like, Mick, and this is back when I was an official ambassador for a couple of years, just 2 years. But she said, and now that, they can't they wouldn't tell me what to do, but then they could. And she goes, I know it's cute, and I know they're being, fairly safe, but like we're going out there telling people not to try this at home, and then you're going, here's my kid trying this at home. And they are, safe. They do, they don't do anything too extreme, and they have a good time. And we actually had we took down the netting and had actual ropes put up.
There you go. Take out the take out the netting, so there's something on the line there. When you said stairs, the first thing I thought about, he's going to fall backwards down them. And when I heard four, I was going.
I will have to tell them. By the way, you cannot use these as weapons.
Yeah. And so, what's your son's first name? Hugh.
That's Hugh. Yeah,
that's Hugh.
Huey, and then the other one's Mickey. So Mickey 0105. And Roddy, I got to tell you, I mean, like I just coming off. I'm like you, I think, in the sense that I'll speak my mind, and if I see something I disagree with strongly, I'll mention it. If I see something I really like, I'll mention it. Sometimes I just go with the. If you can't say something nice, don't say something at all.
Take the high road. Yeah.
Inevitably, if I praise something like I did last week's match with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, you get these comments like, "I guess you're on the payroll now."
When you're being nice, right?
And I'm like, you know what? Like as a general rule, like there's some shows I like better than others, some Raw shows, but like. From a production standpoint, they do such a top-notch job.
Yeah, they do. I
think they should have won some Emmys along the way.
I was sorry the Oscars didn't have Sam comes to Frogtown again, and but I got to take a break. We're going to be right back with the incomparable Mick Foley. Well, here we are. I just got to say thanks to all of you. I love you so much, and I couldn't do it without you guys. You keep me in the game. And I also couldn't do it every week for free without my sponsors. Let's be honest now about what we're doing, and that includes Amazon. They're very cool. Amazon is one of the reasons why you get to download Piper's Pit Pod for free, and we want to keep it that way. And why we don't have to charge you money for each new episode. No, free for you. I'll give you everything I got. It's a cool deal, and we want to keep it that way. And the easiest way to do that is this. You got to do this now. Come on, you got to take a step. You want it for free? I help you, you help me. It's for you to go to Amazon and do all your shopping through Piper's Pit Pod links. Okay, now this is how this works. Every time you buy something on Amazon through my links, Roddy Piper, right? Piper's Pit. Amazon gives a small percentage to your purchase to my podcast. Okay? It won't cost you anything. Nothing. Other than what you want from Amazon. There are no hidden fees, no hidden charges, no nothing. It's as straight up as you can get because Amazon are good people. You just go to podcast1.com and click on Keep Our Sponsors Free. That's the banner at the top of the page. Keep our sponsors free. Okay? Then click on Piper's Pit, the longest, most successful running show in wrestling history. Click on Piper's Pit. All my Amazon links are there. Amazon USA, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, maybe someday Amazon Africa. Right now, it's all over the world. It's the easiest way to support the pod so I can keep doing this for you every week for free. I don't ever want to take a dime from you. I love you. I'll give you everything I got. It's putting my little baby through school. That's podcast1.com. Click on Keep Our Podcasts Free banner at the top of the page. Then click on Piper's Pit. Yeehaw! Yes, sir. Buy all your stuff from me. I can get my youngest daughter through college. She can become a psychiatrist. and I can figure out what's wrong with me. We're with the incomparable Mick Foley. Just a man stands head and shoulders above everybody. He's quite a guy. We were just talking our kids and and different things that we have to do, and Dominic DeNucci, and then we got into my question was like, Mick, what the very first time you decided to jump onto your roof?
Yes.
I haven't, that hasn't been that many chair shots yet. The very first time you decided to jump on the roof, like, what were you thinking?
Man,
was there a ball up there you needed to get?
We were trying to create art, like we were trying. We weren't necessarily doing backyard wrestling. We were doing a home movie that had a scene with a dude Love, who was my fictional creation, who Mr. McMahon later, brought back to life. Say what you will about, Vince, but he firmly believes in the power of making dreams come true and entertaining people. When he found out that I had wanted to be this dude Love guy, he made it happen in '97. But I was a huge Snuka fan.
You were a Snuka fan?
Oh, huge. I mean, I was in the Garden the night, and I didn't know behind the scenes that. I guess Jimmy had his own, demons, and I just remember, you guys had the hot feud.
Yeah.
Starting off with the Coconut at the one of the great pits of all time, and you're welcome. That and Frankie Williams, and it's just funny, right? I just had this conversation with my son about how the mind really only remembers certain things, and they're usually the really good things or the really bad things. No one remembers the decent matches they had. They remember the ones that went really well, and they remember the ones that really went astray. And it's the same thing with these, the interview segments. No one, with all respect to Miz and anyone else who comes along, there's never going to be a Piper's Pit, partially because there's never, and I'm not, just, blowing smoke, but there'll never be a guy on your level, given the level of freedom you had to create your own stuff, and to create an interview with a guy like Frankie Williams, who most guys, I knew because I watched the show, and I knew he was one of those, the guys that came on, and, in New York, it was, either 11 p.m. or midnight. I knew he was from Columbus, Ohio. I'd never seen him win a match. And the last thing you think is, okay, here comes this guy. This is going to be an interview I'll remember for the next 35 years, and it was, 30 years, I think, at this point.
Yeah, it's 31 years. Just a little bit ago, I saw somebody put out it's its birthday. God bless Frankie Williams. Because I'll tell you the truth is, I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. And, the camera's on, and as an interviewer, what would you say? Well, where are you from? Frankie Williams, the only Puerto Rican I know with freckles, in the thickest Puerto Rican accent, go, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. We're on a roll, but you suck as a wrestler. Holy cow. God bless him, man. He was a wonderful guy. We got a caller for you. Just John from Boston on the phone. Hello, John.
What's going on, Piper?
Hey, bud. I'm talking with the incomparable Mick Foley. You got a question for Mick?
Yep, two legends in one room.
Oh, very cool, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, real quick, though. Bray Wyatt is one of my new favorite wrestlers. I used to watch it back in the day, and I just started to get back into it.
Uh-huh.
Bray Wyatt is my new favorite. He's sort of like an Undertaker, Mankind with the promos, Undertaker with the whole scary gimmick. What's his opinion on all the promos he's given? On a 1 to 10 scale,
Oh, for me, I mean, most of them are way up there in the, the upper nines. So like everyone else, some are going to be better than others. But he never misfires. You never see a really bad one. I want to see where it all leads. If it's going to lead to this thing with the Undertaker, it should be a great showdown. Oh, they look great. Huey's now showing me the stairs. But I love I remember him telling me, that he had this thing he was working on, in developmental, and him telling me like he remembered a promo I did in a rocking chair about Randy Orton. And Ronnie, like, there's two schools of thought, when guys do stuff that's reminiscent of things you do. Some guys resent it, and then there are guys like me that go, "Wow, I'm so flattered that like the stuff I did resonated with the current guys, And,
yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty well represented on the show. And Bret is one of those reasons why. I love it. I love the character. I think he's I think great. I love his in-ring work, love the promos, and think he's somebody to be reckoned with for a long time.
Thank you, John. It's interesting. It's a different style. It's a different, obviously the way his body goes, and he's a great athlete. I know his daddy is a great man. It's one of those that used to say to me, I came from some, I don't know, Erie, Pennsylvania, and sold it out or something, and there I am all jumping around as a young kid, and Blackjack Mulligan looks at me and says, "Hey, one game don't make a season." Okay, my bad. Put you right where you need to be, though, pretty quick. just throwing some stuff out here for WrestleMania this year. What do you think of the, just common regular thoughts about Roman Reigns and Lesnar? How do you feel that as a featured match for this year's WrestleMania? This is a question from, Jessica B _ZZ asks. I suck at that, okay. Do you think that Roman is the new face of the WWE?
Well, that's I alluded earlier to the fact that, like, when I say something nice, I'll get the I guess you're on the payroll now, and I mean, I'd written a post about a couple months ago. I thought Daniel Bryan should be the guy to win the Rumble, and then Roddick's actually right. I think he should. I wish they'd given him the run and the chance.
Hey,
and
brother, was that a brutal night? Was that a brutal night? And all due respect to everyone, man.
I had this unique perspective because bad weather was coming into Philadelphia. And bad weather, and it was going to ease for a day or two and then come back, like right at the end of the Rumble. I mean, I've been dancing around these horrible storms for a month now. So yeah. I was in this position where I actually drove my family to Philadelphia on a Friday night, hung out Friday and Saturday, ate at the restaurant where Rocky Balboa was filmed before the Rumble, and then dropped my kids off at the show, and then picked them up in Philadelphia. And the perspective I had was that I was just 2 blocks away, and I got to see people walking by.
Yeah.
And I got to see their body language, and I didn't need to know from my kids that it hadn't gone well, because I could tell by the way people were walking.
Hadn't gone well.
Heads. Yeah, no, it drew well.
That's the comment of the nicest man in professional wrestling over this thing. Well, it might not have gone well.
A lot of disappointment.
Okay.
Heads were bowed. The kids are dragging signs, and then all I kept saying when my kids got in the car and they were trying to tell me, I would say, "Just let me get on the highway. Let me get on the highway, then we could talk." But with that being said, all right, yeah. I think they messed up the Rumble. Not only did I want to see Daniel win, but I think they eliminated guys that WWE fans care about so quickly that it was almost like thumbing their nose at their own audience. But with all that out of the way, I think Roman and Daniel had a great match at Fastlane, and I don't think anyone should ever underestimate Paul Heyman. And
no.
If
he's a pro.
This is where and this is one thing I said in a post. I just said, if it's true, Mr. McMahon, if it's true that you're personally writing Roman's promos for him, please stop.
Please stop.
You're killing the guy.
I was doing a pit with that kid Roman in it and stuff. Like, I didn't know. And the pit, I was kind of going along. We listen. I'm listening to the crowd. I'm listening to the ambience as I'm rolling. So I go over and I pinch his cheek. I didn't know that he's got this huge phobia.
Oh, no.
I just pinched his cheek like Captain Lou Albino would an Italian friend,
Hey, what did he do?
First his face got real red. And he was the last one. And then he stood up and... with some fair fire in his eyes saying, if you do that again, I'm going to break your old ass in half. Which I took offense to. It's a good thing there's people to hold me back. But, good kid, real good. The Royal Rumble, again, I think you and I agree, everybody that answers the bell, we got nothing but respect for. It wasn't them in the ring. It was the Puppet Masters. But, the one, I love Batista to death. When he come out, it's called white heat. For those who don't know, it's called white heat. You never want it. And then just to try at the end of it, to try to, give it their best shot, they sent The Rock out with, I could see. And The Rock, I don't know him well because, you guys I was someplace else. When you folks were doing that, you, The Rock, Austin, and all you guys. But, I love The Rock. He come up to me, gave me a hug. He says, you were my hero when I was a kid. And, I got a lot of respect for him. And he came, so he come down and raises Roman's hand. And, that, whoa, boo, boo. And I could see the face. He's going like, why am I here? I'm one of the biggest movie stars. I was just on what the hell am I doing?
It was brutal, and the next night
they played it again.
But I got a chance to see it because they had the snowstorm, and they had to do the show out of Stamford, which was really interesting. And then I got to see the last 10 minutes, and man, I felt bad for Roman because he's a good guy.
Yes, he is.
He's second generation. His dad, he's very respectful, and man, somebody I just when people say I was fluke, Brian carried, Daniel carried, I'm like Roman's been in enough great matches with the Shield where it's not a fluke.
No.
If he turns in a great performance. And even with all that stuff being said about Daniel Bryan thinking that he should have been the guy to get the shot, the Rumble not going the way that we thought it should have or could have, I still think, with Paul Heyman, if they just turn it over to Paul and say, Mr. McMahon, with all due respect, stay as far away from Roman Reigns.
And as you, though, you know what? Roman Reigns was so much respect when I came in. The Daniel Bryan, same. And again, I guess I'm just saying, hey, everybody there has an enormous amount of talent, and I love them all. We're not knocking anybody, but it's just kind of goes, you're missing the psychology there, folks. Who's ever putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together. I don't know where you're going, but you missed the mark. A little bit earlier than that, and I'm not going to, this isn't about, I love Vince. He loves to hate me, and he's a twisted, sick puppy, but I love the shit out of him. I do. Every time I see him, I hug him. And he hugs me. It's true, man. There was a, doggone it, before, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks before that, where they had Triple H and Stephanie firing Ziggler and a couple other guys because of the scene in the ring. And all of a sudden, there just happened to be balloons and confetti coming down.
Yeah.
And the place went silent. Again, white heat. And poor Stephanie's trying to, she's putting her fingers in her cheeks like Shirley Temple, trying to, how do I get out of this? Then she kisses Paul, says, you know how you get out? Leave. Go back, get out of the arena. But, hey, not that I haven't been in some peculiar spots myself. Anyway, we love the WWE. We love them all.
And I think it's going to be interesting, Roddy, to see how the crowd reacts, and if we might not see this, really organic, the support for Lesnar as the good guy. Like, I just feel
That's
like there's, where people were literally hating him after he defeated the Undertaker, and people had their issues with him and the regularity of his, schedule. But I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting 5 weeks if they let Paul have a lot of say in how things go, and ultimately, and this is what I tell guys, like you make your own WrestleMania moments. In 2006, I got like this really cool swan song by not official swan song, but it might as well have been with Edge. Edge and I had a really good match at Mania.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, great guy, one of the best all-around performers of his generation, and carried me to the last great match I've ever had. And the fans voted on it as WWE fans voted on it as match of the year in 2006. Personally, I didn't think it should have been, but who am I to disagree? Yeah, it's a great honor, and I just have to remind people that wasn't the main event. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, you make your own breaks. Like, you make that WrestleMania moment. No one needs to label it the main event in order for you to steal the show. And so even I'm expecting a great match from Brock and Roman, I really am. But even if that doesn't turn out to be everything it can be, if they load that card and they give the really good hands time to do their thing, it's going to be a great show.
Yes, I think it is going to be a great show, and I think this and they've always been fairly good at this. They be in the WWE. You have something like the Royal Rumble, like when they put what do you call that DVD that they do on somebody every once in a while. They had like Flair was a Flair for the gold. Mine, born to controversy. Thanks, Vince. Thanks a lot. But, however, when you have a Royal Rumble like that, and boom, you know what? Everybody is going to be tuning in. And if I had to bet a plug nickel on it, and I'm not a betting man, that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are going to tear it up. And it'll be worth, the one thin dime, tenth of a dollar to get in. I got, let me see what I got here for you. Got Chris, just a second. Can you hang a little bit more, Mick, or am I?
Yeah, man, we're having a good time.
I love it. I love you, man. Okay, I got Chris from Boston calling in. Hey, Chris. Hello, Chris. How you doing, bud?
Hey, what's up? Hart Rod? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm talking with the incomparable Mick Foley.
Oh my God, Mick Foley's with Hart Rod too.
Yeah, isn't Mick's cool? You got a question for Mick?
Yes, I do. I'm a Boston guy, born and raised, live in Boston.
I could never tell, man.
Gotta love him. I had more fights on the ring to Boston than I had in the ring.
I know.
You were one of them.
Hey, all we do is win around here. We win championships, and everybody knows it.
That's it.
I'm a huge fan of you two. Oh my! I just saw the tweet right now. This is a dream come true. What was I going to say?
Question for Mick.
Question for Mick. Mick, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Wow. Mankind. Bang, bang! Cactus Jack. Unbelievable.
Which one did you like? Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, or Mick Foley?
I was a Cactus Jack guy.
Captain.
Cool. Good choice.
Cactus Jack. I want to see blood. I want to see, and Mick gave me all that. Mick gave me his heart and soul and everything. But what I want to say is, when you get banged up so bad in the ring and you feel that pain, how do you guys continue? You know the pain when you just want to throw up? It hurt like you're banging your knee so bad?
Very well.
How do you guys continue to stay on script when that is throbbing and you just want to punch the
Do you know, that's a good question, bud. That's a good question. I'll go to Mick first. When when they threw you, 40 feet through a cage, onto some spikes to some lions, and, you finally landed on the sandpaper. What'd you do with the pain the next day there, champ?
Or just, I think his question about how do you continue, to the. I still don't like the word script, but if there's
I don't use a script myself.
But if there's a conclusion, no, I understand what you're saying, and I didn't take it disrespectfully at all. But the weird thing is, if there's a conclusion you're trying to reach, and if you're brought up, to respect the business, it's almost like instilled in you that you will do anything within your power to get to that conclusion, no matter how banged up you may be. And that's why I think it's good, like, that the culture is changing, especially about head injuries, so that other people can make the decisions to stop the matches, because the guys, I get a lot of credit for continuing, in that cell match when I had been legitimately knocked out. But, like, I just heard, from Bruce Pritchard that Joey Mercury wanted to continue after his eye. It was, this is a match going back years ago. He nearly lost his eye. Like, literally, they were holding his eye back into the socket of his head. It just blood everywhere. And he was backstage going, "No, man, I can do it. I can do it. Come on, I have a match to finish." And so I think it's just something, you if you appreciate it, and Roddy, you could probably divide the guys, because there are some guys who get into the business and do well in it and never really love it.
Yeah.
But I think for the guys who do love it, and this is a question I had when I saw The Wrestler with some of the other guys when I was working for TNA, and some of the guys didn't like it, and they didn't find the ending to be realistic. And I remember asking Devon Dudley, I said, how many guys do you know who would literally rather die than not get their finishing move in? And he looked at me, he goes, You're right. And so there's just something about, like, the way, you break in and you pay your dues, and you don't get to where you are unless you love it and you're willing to prove a lot of people wrong. And when you're in that ring, it's not a macho thing, it's
a lot of mental toughness, I imagine.
Yeah. You got that mental toughness, and the funny thing is, or the ironic thing is, for a business where guys are accused of acting and pretending, that a lot of the acting and pretending you do is that you are feeling better than you actually are. Like,
yes.
The selling you do is oftentimes selling, in a way that makes it look like you're not in as much pain as you are on your way to the ring, or when you're doing your appearances, because people pay, their hard-earned money, and you're supposed to be taking their minds off their problems, not concentrating on the issues, you might be.
Mick, too, also, it's like, of course, I broke in a couple of days before you, and, the bad one time, and I still have a problem, there was a code. And there was honor. And I remember, I got stabbed an inch from the heart in Raleigh. Next day, I was in the ring in a lumberjack match. I just saw it. You can see the patch and the stitches and the blood. And, it was part of the couple of words where if you can walk, you can wrestle. If you're going to die, kid, die in the ring. It's good for business. I mean, they meant this.
Did you take the stabbing to be a compliment?
That's really smart question. Not the first two, but the third one, yeah. First two weren't compliments. The third one, it was a compliment.
Because a similar thing happened, and you were one of those guys who would do. I mean, the heat you had was just amazing, even in the entertainment era. Even in the MTV era, like, it was just like I would watch and I'd be like, oh man, you love to watch somebody when they're in their zone, whether they're a football player, an actor, in your case, a wrestler, and be like watching these promos and like, man, he's just in the zone. Like, you could never have sent you out with a script and had some of those things roll off your tongue. Terry Funk was another guy who was in that zone. And I remember him, explaining to me that the police tried to get him to press charges on a woman who had stabbed him. And it sounds like the ravings of a lunatic when he, it tells the police, how could I press charges when she just paid me the ultimate compliment? Like, it's like this weird, twisted world where,
it is.
And I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating.
I'm sure you guys dealt with thousands of those people, and you always have to be aware.
We love you, Chris. We love you. Listen, I'm going to try to keep Mick on for part 2. I'm running out of time. Chris, loved you for calling. Mick, can you hang just
yeah,
a little
Ronnie,
bit longer,
especially,
please?
I'd love to talk about the WrestleMania raffle I'm doing for Rain when we come back.
Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, holy cow, the hour went by fast. Thank you, Chris, for calling in. Thank you for the Twitter stuff. And we'll be back next week with bagpipes, Mick, and a bunch of midgets. Go midget tossing.